And I just want to hear any tips that you have to help people overcome this fear of failure.
Yeah. Fear isn't always a bad thing. People misconceive that. A little fear can be. Nervousness is not a bad thing let me rephrase. What nerves represent, it's because you care. I should say it like this. I don't believe in myself. I don't have a fear of failure as much as I used to. When I approach applying for these major internships, applying within my companies, when I first started them, that fear of failure ran my life. I'm like, I'm going to go bankrupt. I'm going to lose my capital. How am I going to pay this stuff back? And this is going to be awful. These interns, I don't think I'm qualified for this. What are they going to tell me? And I don't think that way anymore. It's more so, this is how I started approaching it. There's a reason they are giving me the time of day. There's a reason I'm in this position. If I get to the interview stage, there's a reason that they see something in me, some sort of potential, some sort of opportunity that they see for me to provide them value. And that's my goal with it, is not just what can they provide me, but every time I walk into an interview, it's what value can I provide that country club, what value can I provide that company, what can I bring to their staff that differentiates me. And I think that's what got me over it, is I am special. I am unique, words of positivity, a positive mindset, which I didn't realize there's a massive value in. There's a huge value in that positive mindset. So walking into these interviews and stuff with I bring a lot to the table. I'm going to give it my all. And if I give it 100% and don't get it, I left it all on the table. There's nothing else I can do in that situation. So, if they come back with a no, that's tough. Let it be. The world's going to keep turning. I got to keep walking. I got to keep moving forward. And that continued forward progress is a massive thing for me. It's okay to feel those emotions you need to feel. Like, man, this darn. But always keep pushing forward. And I think realizing that every time I go in at one of these internships, when I go for it within my companies, learning from those mistakes, asking for feedback on maybe when I don't get it, like, hey, is there something I can improve on? Is there something that, didn't quite call to you or that didn't quite differentiate me from everyone else? Seeing what I could do differently really made me realize that I didn't have to be scared of failure, because it can also be a learning moment.
I like to view failure as feedback nowadays. And what another guest who I've had on this podcast, Austin, his definition of failure was not trying. And specifically, it's failure if you don't learn from the mistakes that you have. I think my definition of failure is just feedback. It doesn't really mean a lot of the stuff. It's just a platform or an opportunity for me to learn. I think that's a massive reframe, because that can get rid of the I'm super scared of this, because you can get these nerves that you have. And I think reframing that in your mind as excitement is massive, because it's the same feeling. Is this nervousness that you have is the same as excitement whenever you're like super jittery, and I don't want to say anxious, but anxious comes to mind as like more of like jittery and whatnot. It's the same thing as being nervous is the same thing as being excited. So I think reframing in your mind, I'm excited for this opportunity to potentially learn something, even if that means your entire business blows up in your face.
Yeah.
That's something that not necessarily on a huge scale, but this past summer I decided to start my own social media marketing agency. I basically just wanted to do SEO, search engine optimization for local businesses and whatnot. And I was just starting out, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I didn't really put in a crazy amount of time and effort behind the stuff, and sort of didn't really know what I was doing with it, which is fair. That was the first time that I ever started anything that had to do with it. But that got shut down. It was basically just a small thing over the summer that I kind of did on the side to try and learn some skills. And originally I thought it was a failure. I didn't like it. It wasn't cool. and I was a little annoyed at myself for trying stuff. But I realized whenever I was starting up this podcast and having to make a website for it, that I built a fantastic website for the marketing agency that I started up that was not very long. But I did learn how to build an amazing website. And whenever I had to build a website for this podcast, I knew what I was doing. So I think reframing this fear of failure and experiences that you've had to a more positive light is massive, because no matter what happens with this podcast or with the school that I'm going through and the tests that I'm taking, the businesses that I start, the relationships that I have, as long as you take something from that and, like you said, moving a step forward every single day towards your goals, you're gaining those skills and those experiences to drive you to the places that you want to go. And I think that's absolutely massive, and that's a big thing. Is fear of failure is huge, but making sure that you can really reframe your mindset to think about it from a different way that really serves you.
Absolutely. I could not agree more.
If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe. Watch this next video right here.